All right, you're looking for the best possible strategy to win Week 7 of fantasy football. Week 7 of fantasy football, just like Week 6, just like Week 5. What do we look for? The shootouts on the calendar, the vacated opportunities, use that law of the conservation of targets. But we're taking it a step further this week. There's a particular tactic that we're going to leverage for all of our fantasy teams heading into Week 7. But it's always important to look at where those shootouts are. Lions at Vikings, 49-point total. Seahawks at Falcons, 50.5 point total. Ravens at Buccaneers, 48.5 point total. But the biggest total of all, Panthers at Commanders. The Washington Commanders have the most implied points on the slate this week. But what did we learn last week? Day to day really means week to week. And if a coach reports that an injury is minor, that means nothing. It meant nothing to Devin Singletary. It meant nothing to James Cook. The way to win Week 7 is to start picking up those running back pieces now, in preparation for these minor injuries to be revealed as maybe not so minor, maybe a little bit serious on Friday, Saturday, Sunday, and even Monday night. Because that's what we saw in Monday Night Football. Ray Davis went out. He was the Bills' leading rusher and leading receiver. Just a plug-and-play full replacement of James Cook in that lineup. And now this week, heading into Week 7, there's even more injuries to monitor that were reported as minor, but then the player didn't return. So are you sure it's minor? Because he didn't come back to the game. We have 5 to 10 options that could be this week's Tyrone Tracy. And it starts with one of our signature shootouts. Tyler Algier is still available on a lot of waiver wires. He went for 100 yards and a touchdown, so he'll be well over 50% rostered by the end of this week. So if you have Tyler Algier at home against the Seahawks, this is a strong play. They will likely get out to a lead, a lot of implied points, and run Tyler Algier as their hammer in the second half. And then there's the aforementioned Ray Davis. The Bills are 8.5 point favorites at home against the Titans this week. And these toe injuries like James Cook is suffering from, they have a way of lingering. So pick up Ray Davis if it's not too late. It's not too late to stockpile your entire bench with running backs. I'm in a deep expert league, like 14 teams. I have Jordan Whittington. He's my lone bench receiver. I think Jordan Whittington is a great streaming option this week, but I'm going 100% running backs on my bench in all formats. That's the way to win this week. That's what the experts are doing. That's what I'm doing. I like Jordan Whittington, but I can't fit him on my roster. I like Michael Wilson. I can't fit him on my roster. You know, I like Rashad Bateman. Can't fit him on the roster. These are the weeks where you have to start making difficult decisions, difficult cuts. It's not easy to let go of a quarterback that you like, or a tight end that you like, or a wide receiver that you like. But at this point in the season, what we're seeing week in, week out with these Tyrone Tracy's and these Ray Davises is that you need to make sure that you have these running backs on your bench to activate and take advantage, lock in those 20 fantasy points when they become available. One of those shootouts we talked about, Lions at Vikings. Aaron Jones is week to week with a hip injury. The coaches have already announced that he's unlikely to play. Yet Ty Chandler is available in a lot of leagues because he was forgotten about during that bye week. Pick up Ty Chandler, an explosive playmaker, and play him, even against the Lions, because it's at home. Then you've got Isaac Guerendo. Jordan Mason went down with a shoulder injury. It's supposed to be minor. How sure are you really that Jordan Mason is going to play this week? If there's any doubt at all, then you need to be putting at least 5 to 10% of your fab budget down on Isaac Guerendo. He's 220 pounds with 95th percentile plus explosiveness across the board. Imagine the biggest, baddest version of Raheem Mostert ever created. That's Isaac Guerendo. Get him on your team and prepare to get him in your lineup. But we're just scratching the surface of the running backs you should be stashing. Kimani Vidal. He may not win you week 7, but he may win you week 8, week 9, week 10, all the way through to your championship. Same with Trey Benson. Same with Jalen Wright. If somehow, some way these running backs are available or they've been dropped, you need to scoop all of them and go naked at the quarterback, wide receiver, and tight end positions and say, this week, we're all running backs on the bench. Someone's going to drop Blake Corum, scoop him. Someone's going to drop Braylon Allen, scoop him. Then if you're in deep leagues, there's a lot of interesting satellite backs you could stream. Think about D'Ernest Johnson. It's a perfect week to play D'Ernest Johnson, knowing Travis Etienne, unlikely to play. The high-value touches, especially in the passing game, going to D'Ernest Johnson, not to Tank Bigsby. Tank Bigsby is a slug. At no point have I said, hey, you got to go pick up Tank Bigsby. D'Ernest Johnson, though, that Travis Etienne role is valuable, especially for an offense constantly playing from behind. Pierre Strong, same thing. Browns are playing from behind. Deshaun Watson has no arm strength down the field. Of course, he's going to dump it off to Pierre Strong, who is an explosive satellite back, and he's going to get opportunities this week. Sean Tucker exploded last week. He was the number one running back in fantasy. Will he be that again this week? No. Is he a guy that you need to be stashing just based on that explosive upside? Yes. And on and on and on and on and on down the list. Now, you may be eyeing Demario Douglas, and I get it. I want Demario Douglas. Demario Douglas is the go-to receiver for the next big breakout rookie quarterback. Drake May has it all. Size, athleticism, arm strength. And he's on a team that's going to be in comeback mode. I love streaming Drake May. If you're in a Superflex league or you need a quarterback this week, target Drake May on the waiver wire or in trade. He will deliver positive returns this week, and ideally you're stacking him with Demario Douglas, but if it means burning a bench slot to get Demario Douglas on your team, just say no. Just say no. The top strategy to win in fantasy football is to stockpile running backs this week, and it'll just continue to pay dividends week after week after week.